Betty Lou Jones was born September 27, 1931, in Columbia, Missouri, in the heart of the Great Depression. Her parents were Evelyn Christine and William Jones, and in 1933, they headed west for the hills of California.
That was a golden land of opportunity. Daddy said he could find gold if everyone else could, he was going to find gold. They didn't have much money at all, and Daddy had a guitar. He cherished that guitar, but someone wanted to buy it, and he sold the guitar, and he bought an old Ford car. And they come across from Missouri driving that old Ford car when I was just a little over a year old. And we landed in Whiskey Town, called Whiskey Town, just out of Redding, California. And that's where the gold was supposed to be, in the hills. And sometimes he'd find big gold nuggets. I mean, they weren't really real big, but it would be enough to buy groceries. So he panned for gold, and we lived in the hills for about almost 2 years in a tent. And then they cook outside a lot. We moved from there when I was probably about 4, right before Nikki was born. And she was born in the house. Mother had such a hard time having her that he called her Nicodemus. He kept saying, Nicodemus is not going to come. She doesn't really want to get out in this world. So instead of being called Donna by her real name, Donna Jean, she was always called Nikki. Daddy did a number of things. He was kind of like a jack of all trades. The mother and Daddy were the typical, Daddy was a welder, Mother was the typical Rosie the Riveter, working in shipyards. When that was over, then Daddy decided to go into the bees. And he had hives and hives of bees and put them out in the hills where the clover was.
Well, was it hard when Grandma got back? I mean, did she like working
In the shipyard?
Yes.
Oh, she loved working in the shipyard. And she wore the bandana. She looked like the original Rosie the Riveter with the bandana tied around her head.
Well, I always wondered about that. How did Grandma just adjust and go back to this Susie maker, or?
Well, that's when he built the little malt shop. It was called Pinquin Malt Shop. And there was nothing like that little malt shop. There was nothing like that. That was entirely new. It's like the Frosty places. All the kids would come down from the high school and everything. I had more friends than you could shake a stick at that would come in and help me do my, especially boys, come in and help me do my homework there at the malt shop. Daddy was always the one that wanted to hop from job to job.
But he also hopped from woman to woman.
Oh, yes. But that wasn't hopping around until, it wasn't hopping around until us kids were grown. This is another job that my dad did. If you put down all the jobs he did, I thought I did a lot, different ones. And I did a lot of jobs, insurance and police department, everything. But Daddy was the chief of police at Anderson. And he was in his uniform, and all the women was chasing after him. He did look pretty handsome in his uniform. And then he worked at the school too. I mean, he did so many jobs that always made a good living for us. And I had a wonderful childhood. I never, ever, even in the poorest times, believed that I was poor, that I was lacking anything or jealous of anybody else having more, because they made it seem like that was just a natural thing. Of course, I didn't realize how much my mother was sacrificing. She wasn't buying herself clothes. I learned that when I got married and had to sacrifice making clothes up out of old clothes I had and stuff. But at the time, she was doing that, and I didn't realize that I was just happy.